This is Lantau Island. These peaks are home to one of the world's great short course adventure races. Rising out of the South China Sea, Lantau is the biggest of 266 outlying islands that surround Hong Kong. Today, this island will play host to athletes from around Asia who will battle it out over 35 kilometres of unknown and unpredictable terrain in the final race of the 2005 Hong Kong Action Asia Challenge Series. Course designers love this island, and bringing the race back to Lantau was a welcome choice.
Lantau is just so huge, and from a competitor standpoint, there's so many great places on Lantau that you could have an adventure race. And the big thing that we wanted to try doing was tie in the Lantau ridgeline with the Wollonghang Valley. Wonderful. Awesome. So much fun.
Adventure racing is unique in the arena of competitive endurance sports. Athletes race from ocean to mountaintop and back, on the way confronting tough, sometimes life-threatening physical and psychological disciplines.
Okay, just let it go, yeah, jump in the water, don't worry.
Sissy Chan and David Sumner are veterans to the sport and are gearing up for their third Action Asia as Team Sumchance.
I got into adventure racing basically because I was getting injured at football and injured at squash, and I wanted a sport where I could control sort of my own destiny, as it were. Something also that could get me out at the weekend into Hong Kong and basically the scenery and the fresh air.
Some of my friends asked me, "Oh, do you want to join adventure racing? Oh, it's good fun." I said, "Oh, I can't make it, it's too tough." And then my friend told me, "Yeah, you can do everything, right?" I feel it's good, fun, I love it, and then I just addicted to it now.
The last race of the season begins in Tung Chung, a newly created metropolis on northern Lantau Island. Built to service Hong Kong's new Chek Lap Kok International Airport, the city is only a stone's throw from spectacular river gorges, mountain ranges and jungle terrain.
You know, one of the things we're hoping people will see from this race on Lantau is how beautiful Lantau is, how beautiful the outdoors is, and hopefully limit the amount of construction that is going on Lantau Island, as the last thing we want to do is ruin the last Shangri-La in Hong Kong.
24 hours before the race, all 296 competitors are checked by officials to ensure their equipment complies with mandatory race standards. Competitors come from mixed backgrounds, from the semi-professional athletes to newcomers to the sport.
So we're just here for fun, just like the last one, and as long as we finish and no injuries, that's the main thing.
It's actually challenging because each race everybody getting fitter and fitter. So actually we can always find somebody stronger than us, so try to beat them.
As you get towards December, a lot of races, and you should really be up to fitness by that point. So we've got to sort of train from about June, July time.
It will be a tough race tomorrow, so get some more rest, important, and get myself spiritual ready.
Preparation for such a tough race isn't confined to the gym or Hong Kong's many hiking trails.
I chose my ankle about last April in one of the extreme sprint races. Some of my friends say, "Oh, try the acupuncture," and then I did it a couple of times, and then I feel it helps a lot.
Like many athletes, Sissy Chan uses acupuncture as a preventative maintenance tool.
Acupuncture serves this kind of clientele well because it is a kind of a natural-based system of healthcare, preventative healthcare, which draws a person's own energy. It doesn't really do it for them. It works with people's energy, and people have to contribute and participate in lifestyle changes in order for the whole thing to work. So I think that's why there's been such a good marriage between the two.
And few have returned quicker than Wong Wai Kin. The tough local was back training 2 weeks after suffering serious head and neck injuries from a cycling accident. Wong is one of the local favourites, but he will face strong competition from overseas teams from Taiwan, Singapore and China.
I think the finishing position for us in real terms, 10th, 11th, something like that. I mean, we're not going to get on the podium because there's a lot of good teams this year.
Most of the overseas teams are strong, but the thing is, at the end of the day, Hong Kong has the most adventure races per capita than anywhere in Asia.
Out on the course, Technical Director Fred Yung and his team battle against the clock to complete the rigging in time for the race.
The rig a line to go to the slab back there, and going to put some more anchors there. So this is my safety line for access area.
Tomorrow, competitors will rely on skills of these technicians to get them home safely. It's 4 a.m, race morning. Competitors are bussed from Hong Kong City to the start line at Tung Chung on Lantau Island. Nerves fuel the early start to the day.
It's very early, very tired, and I'm not sure we're fit enough, but pretty excited at the moment, so good.
I'm asking myself, we both said this morning, why do we do this?
Yeah, we're going for gold again. No messing about.
For the second time in race history, competitors will start in the dark. It's a fitting beginning. Part of the mystique of the challenge is the secrecy surrounding the course. Until the race begins, competitors are kept in the dark about where they are going and what they'll be doing.
I went to bed about 9, so...
No, I think about 10, 11, but still good. Yeah.
There's no backing out now. It's time to race.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
The first stage of this race will take competitors on a 4-kilometre mountain bike sprint through Tung Chung and along the south perimeter road of the Chek Lap Kok Airport. Competitors put their bikes on inner tubes and swim to Sha Le Wan. A fast and furious cycle to Sham Wat precedes a gruelling 400-metre vertical ascent to the Po Lin Monastery, home of Hong Kong's Big Buddha and the first bike transition at the Wisdom Poles.
This course, being 35 plus kilometers long, is definitely going to favor the teams that are going to have a very high endurance intake and can handle many hours out on a race course.
There is an early casualty as competitors head along the airport perimeter fence to the Channel Swim. The only way to get themselves and their bikes to the other side is with the help of large inner tubes. It makes for a bizarre sight on this early Sunday morning. Lantau's small villages and country parks provide a remarkable backdrop to the furious pace of the leaders. The top cyclists will reach speeds of 30 kilometres an hour on these winding walking tracks. Stealing an early lead is Team ProTrek Go Light. Current champions Daniel Brown and Pedro Ribeiro have won more Action Asia challenges than any other team. But just behind are two troublemakers who aim to upset their record. Shun Ji Shen and Chen Chung Ren are relative unknowns in this race, but their explosive start has left more experienced teams in their wake. Further back, Team Some Chance prefer to conserve energy. Looming ahead is Lantau Peak, and they're betting that's where this course is heading.
So long, the steep slope. My timer service say, oh, stop, and then so I just get off and push a bike for a while, and when I feel better, then I just cycling for some distance, and sometimes later, and then push it again.
Coming up, Hong Kong's Big Buddha beckons the bike riders. Lantau Island is home to the Po Lin Monastery. Now one of Hong Kong's biggest tourism attractions, city life has pursued the monks, but their dedication to their spiritual way of life remains. The monks have welcomed the adventure races to their retreat. Many athletes combine the principles of Buddhist meditation in their training to strengthen their minds and their bodies.
身體同心靈都要做到忘我境界啊！忘我境界結為譬如運動咁樣運動做到忘我境界，咁無我相、無形相、無眾生相、無受者相，咁心靈同身體結合一齊，咁對身體好有健康
Here at the Wisdom Poles, Buddhists reflect on the duality of mind and body. They believe that enduring suffering will help an individual achieve a higher sense of self, something adventure racers relate to during the course of every event. Back at the race, the leaders head to the first bike transition at the Wisdom Poles. It's neck and neck. Ribeiro and Brown arrive 2 minutes ahead of Taiwan number 1. Neil Tate and Andy Naylor of Team Sports Performance 2 are 5 minutes further behind. Hong Kong's Chi Ming and Chung Siu Keung of ProTrek Beyond Limits are in 4th place. From here, the course switches gear. Teams head off into a 5.3 kilometre climb up one of Hong Kong's steepest ridges towards Lantau Peak, the highest part of the course at around 800 metres.
One of the big things about this race is that since there is going to be some big vertical gains in this race, you're going from sea level up to 400 meters. You're going to have that happening at the very beginning of the race. The adrenaline is pumping through all the competitors. A lot of teams are just going to completely go for it, thinking that they're going to be finished the bike and they got to do something easy.
Look at that, I'm going to need some stitches in there. See? No problem.
Well, they're wrong. They've got to climb up to 800 meters immediately after a grueling mountain bike. That's going to punish a lot of competitors.
Race leaders Brown and Ribeiro have been surprised by the tenacity of the Taiwan team. But on this mountain, the two teams have more than each other to worry about. Up here, it's a battle against the elements. As they push their way up the razor-thin ridge, 40-knot winds threaten to blow competitors off the mountain. If you don't have a head for heights, then this is the wrong place to be.
Everything all right? No, it's not.
At 800 metres, the leaders have reached the highest point in the race, but not the toughest. Coming up, a wet and wild kayak ride. It may seem like a sport for the professionally minded, but the Action Asia Challenge was actually started 6 years ago with the weekend warrior in mind.
One of the purposes of having the Action Asia Challenge event in the very first place was trying to get people into the outdoors.
Well, we think that this is a great opportunity to showcase what Asian cities have, because traditionally people have focused on sports that are done within city walls, but this gives us a chance to get outside the main city, and we're only 20 minutes from the city centre here, and yet we're already having people splashing around in rivers and running along ridge lines. It's a great opportunity to showcase the other side of Asian cities.
Back at Wisdom Park, Brown and Ribeiro complete the mountain run in 57 minutes. Hot on their heels, just 1 minute behind, are the Taiwanese. Their split time on the mountain run is 56 minutes, 1 minute faster than Pro Trek Go Light. The pressure is on. From the Wisdom Poles, competitors are reunited with their bikes for a fast and furious ride down a winding narrow path past Tai Tong Tsai and Lo Hon monasteries to Tung Chung Bay. It's back on with the life jackets as the athletes jump into new feel-free hard-shell kayaks for a punishing 4-kilometre paddle. Back on the mountain, some chants are in their element.
We were quite fast up there, and again, once we got up to the top of Lantau, running down very fast, we were passing everybody going down there, so that was great.
Moving from one extreme to another, the race picks up speed with a 5-kilometre full-on downhill adrenaline rush.
They're going to go down a very, very steep area through the Tai Tong Tsai Monastery down to the Lo Hon Monastery before sweeping through some small villages right to the kayak section on Tung Chung Bay.
At Tai Tong Tsai, competitors push their bikes past the monastery so as not to disturb the meditation within.
Very steep slope, a bit scary.
Our mixed local team, David and Sissy, strike trouble on this dangerous part of the course. This puncture proves a disaster.
We got a fat giant tide. Stuck here for about 20 minutes or more. I think about 10 mixed team already passed us. 5 or 10.
We're probably in 6th, 7th position, and you want to get, abseil's coming, and you want to get up there before the queues start. So we sat there for 20-30 minutes trying to repair a puncture, and you know they're just coming past you one after the other, and it's like depressing.
First into the kayak section are Brown and Ribeiro. They have been racing for 2 hours and 13 minutes, and yet both look dangerously fresh.
Competition and stuff. Well, going up the hill, I guess. Extremely windy.
This is not one of the local team's favourite disciplines, but the new hardshells make a difference to their form.
I think the big advantage of the feel-free hardshell kayaks, or some Australians call them surf skis, is that they're much more stable in the water. Competitors are going to notice the ease of just sliding right onto it, how fast they're going to accelerate. When they hit some choppy waves, they're just going to glide through the waves. They're not going to be pushed around. But the wind is the big noticeable difference. You know, when you're in an inflatable, the wind can just spin it immediately. The hard shell is just going to coast right through.
Taiwan remained dogged in pursuit. After losing valuable time at the bike transition, they've made up ground and are just 2 minutes behind. But in a race like this, trouble can come from unexpected quarters. It's a cold and costly capsize, adding 4 minutes to their time and placing them now 6 minutes behind the leaders. From the kayaks, competitors jump back on their bikes and head to Wonglungheng Road and a river gorge scramble that leads to 2 waterfalls and 3 abseils. The right-hand fork takes athletes to the first of 3 fixed-line rope climbs and 2 abseils. The left fork scrambles to a diagonal abseil across the second waterfall. Wet and tired, athletes will head back down the gorge to be reunited with their bikes. They will then cycle into Tung Chung for a bridge abseil into Tung Chung Channel. It's then a short bike sprint to the finish line.
When they finish the kayak section, it's just basically moving their way through Tung Chung up the Wonglungheng Valley, but this is where competitors are going to be becoming fatigued, they're getting tired, they've been out in the water, their arms are turning into jelly, their legs are tired because they've just climbed Lantau Peak.
Despite 2 setbacks against Asia's best adventure racing team, the Taiwanese duo spring up the gorge like nimble mountain goats, shaving 7 minutes off Team Protrek's lead, catching them at the first waterfall abseil. The race now hangs in the balance. As the teams emerge from the gorge, it becomes clear there has been an upset. Shin and Chen have stolen the lead.
89. Go to the road. Go back and get your bike. Go back and get your bike. Yeah, fast on.
Back at the kayaks, the main pack battles for the minor placings. Hard shells beneath them, the midfield paddlers are beginning to enjoy themselves. First-time visitors to Hong Kong, Canadian team Mind Over Mountain, are blown away by the course.
Oh, it's great. I'm just totally surprised by the amount of trails, and the epic ridgeline track was incredible. It definitely didn't expect it. I thought we were running in the city the whole time.
John and Ron, I'll bike first. We can swap over, right?
Before they get to the river scramble, a mental challenge confronts each team. They must use only one bike to get to the gorge.
As soon as they get back to the bike transition, competitors are going to realize, like, oh yeah, we've got one bike. So it'll be interesting what sort of strategy the teams use at that point to use that one bicycle. Some teams may share the bicycle. Some teams may decide to run the whole section and leave the weaker teammate on the bike.
One of the toughest psychological tests for new adventure racers is the abseil, and in this section they've got 2 beauties.
scary.
They have to use their climbing equipment, carabiner slings, to make their way up fixed lines to the top of the third waterfall. They're going to be using fixed lines to get back down, 2 waterfall abseils, followed by another diagonal abseil before getting back to the bike transition after, of course, rock scrambling the whole way down another kilometer on their rubber jelly legs.
At the front, Taiwan maintains their lead over the locals, Brown and Ribeiro. First to the bridge abseil, the athletes can taste victory. But one wrong move here and the race is lost. It's a tense moment. The waters below contain a strong current. With an unassailable lead, Team Taiwan stretch out to the finish line. The first Chinese team to win the event since it began 8 years ago.
It's the first time in 8 years that the Chinese team has won this race.
Really?
Yes, so it's a very special day for you and for Taiwan, yeah?
Yeah, it's challenging for us, very challenging.
Why?
How many guys? Because we can believe in Hong Kong have those places. Yeah. We just think many cities, trees, and maybe some small hill, just that. But today we saw so many strange places. Yeah.
Brown and Ribeiro are just minutes behind.
All the way we were together and we kept bumping into each other.
And they caught us on the river gully. They were extremely fast. They looked like they were running on road, to be honest.
More than 3 hours after the winners crossed the line, Hong Kong's Kathy Lee and Catherine Hung of Team City Escape take out the women's division.
Very tired. Very challenging.
Why?
The smooth trip is very long and uphill and going down again and up again.
Team Some Chance have made it to the final abseil before the cut-off time. They are exhausted, but not daunted by this last mental and physical challenge.
Okay. Hold on to the rope.
Yeah. We're gonna wait for her, right?
Huh? Okay.
After 8 hours and 13 minutes, they cross the line, champions in their own right.
It was tough and enjoyable.
Who was keeping up to who? Who was the strongest today?
Well, I got to chase her down the hill. She's just like, whoosh, away she goes.
When hiking up, I just grab these harnesses and get the tow line on, and then he helped me out to get up there.
It's been another incredible race in one of Asia's premier sporting events. Tomorrow, these athletes return to work to face challenges of a different nature. Come the weekend, they'll be back out on the course, preparing themselves for the next Action Asia Challenge.